I have received complaints about our actions from law enforcement, government officials, other cabinet members, and members of the Bentley family. At the end of 2014, Governor Bentley made it clear to me in no uncertain terms that from that point forward, anyone that questioned Rebecca's influence would be fired. In early February, I informed Governor Bentley that ALEA was investigating an allegation into improper conduct involving the Attorney General's office. Special Agent Jack Wilson, who worked in special investigations and intelligence and who has a record that is impeccable, was assigned to do the investigation. Special Agent Jack Wilson conducted the investigation and concluded nothing improper was done by the Attorney General's office. On February 16th, I met with Governor Bentley, his legal advisor, David Byrne. Rebecca Mason was present. The governor's personal attorney, Joe Espy, was present, as well as members of my senior staff and my staff attorney. I made Governor Bentley aware that the Attorney General's office had requested an affidavit, and that both myself and Special Agent Wilson would be submitting an affidavit as it was part of our job and our obligation as law enforcement officers. Governor Bentley instructed me to tell Matt Hardy, the Attorney General's office, that ALEA's investigation was still ongoing and not to do the affidavit. That was untrue. The investigation was done, and we had concluded it. The following morning after that conversation, the governor's legal advisor, David Byrne, worked with my lawyer on editing an affidavit that was eventually submitted to the Attorney General's office. On February 16th, or at the February 16th meeting, both Rebecca Mason and Governor Bentley were both furious with me and my staff regarding the submission of the affidavit. Both Rebecca Mason and the governor yelled and ridiculed both me and my staff in the presence of the governor, in the presence of non-law enforcement officials, and both discussed law enforcement sensitive information. To say she was furious would be an understatement. As part of my law enforcement career, I've taught kinesics and taught body language. She had a level of anger that I've rarely seen as a law enforcement officer. Over the next few days, Rebecca Mason and Governor Bentley took action to end the careers. I mentioned earlier, 4 law enforcement employees have done absolutely nothing wrong. Their names were made public. They were embarrassed. Their jobs were ended immediately, to the point where they received a call after lunch being told their insurance went in at 5 p.m. These men and women did not deserve this, and the people of Alabama did not deserve this. Yesterday, I found out via social media that I was being accused of misusing funds. Let me be clear, this is 100% untrue. As I mentioned earlier, I'll gladly say this in front of a grand jury, swear to it. I have and will continue to cooperate with the Attorney General's office in any aspect, whether looking into some trumped-up investigation by Stan Stabler or the governor, or the actions of the governor. I also found out yesterday via social media that I was terminated. I'll repeat what I told the governor on August 5th, 2014. I love you like a father, but I won't lie to a grand jury for you. I said that then and I say that now. I will tell the truth. I refused, my crime is this, I refused to lie to the Attorney General's office. And I signed an affidavit that was part of my job that I am required to do as a law enforcement officer. Those who work for me that I mentioned have paid the ultimate price for this, as I have. This is not the way government should work. This is not the way law enforcement should work. Elected officials should not be able to yield this much power over criminal investigations. The people of this state deserve better. Governor Bentley was elected by an overwhelming majority of the people of this state, but Rebecca Mason was not elected by anyone. And the level of influence that she is yielding makes her the de facto governor. That part concerns me because I believe the result has been undue and dangerous interference into operations and open investigations within the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, both in terms of personnel movement and active investigations that were closed or ordered closed immediately as I walked out the door, contrary to my orders. I'll finish by saying this. I mentioned that Miss Mason is not elected. I don't even think we know who even pays Miss Mason. I think anyone knows where her pay comes from. But I do know this. Governor Robert Bentley is not the same man I knew and served in the legislature with and considered one of the best friends that I ever had. And for that, I am saddened. I'll wrap up by saying this. None of this is to cast any ill will or any accusations against the men and women of law enforcement, the hardworking men and women. I'm talking about the people doing the job at ALEA. I'm not talking about the leadership, because they made some very bad decisions. With that, there's a ton of you guys here. I'll try and answer some questions. And Mary, I see you jumping up and down back there.
You mentioned the governor committed, or possibly committed a felony in this relationship. What crimes were broke? What crimes did he commit? And why are you talking about this now, the day after you were fired, and not a year ago, more than a year ago?
Well, I'll work backwards. I'll answer the first one. I actually came out with this yesterday to John Archibald before I learned I was fired. So that's what came out. I told the governor if he was using state dollars to facilitate the relationship, that would be a felony. He assured me he was not doing that. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying he did. I'm saying what I told him. If you're using state money, if you're leasing a state plane to keep a manifest private, that's a crime to do that. Why am I just coming out now? From a law enforcement standpoint, I believed him that day. From a personal standpoint, I don't have a good reason. And to Diane Bentley, I apologize, and I am sorry.